ahead of the 2019 general election. How far will these political parties go? And don't forget that we have 91 political parties in this country. You can only imagine how long the ballot paper is going to be in 2019. I sincerely want to thank you, Fan James, for finding out time to be here today.
Thank you, Mr. Pryor.
All right, this is how much time will permit us on the show today. Thank you so much for finding out time to tune in. Politics and You will hit your screen again same time next week, Thursday, 7 p.m., God willing. Stay out of trouble, and remember, Nigeria will definitely be great again. I am Pius Samuel. So many thanks for watching.
If you know fit go internet or follow for Twitter, you know fit snap photo send or get it photo send. Now because you dey use Palasa, your phone no dey answer. See me see wahala. My brother, go get smartphone, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone wey no go for your hand, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone wey no fit take selfie. Drop that Palasa phone. No be correct phone, yeah. Drop that
my people, no let Palasa phone fall your hand this year. Kia go buy 3G or 4G smartphone or bring that your phone con join MTN and then go summer you with 100% awoof data bam on top every data bundle way you buy for the next 3 months. So drop that Palasa now, change your levels so that you go fit enjoy fast internet on the network we get data for everywhere for we country Nigeria. This offer day open to new and old MTN customers.
Here we go then. Great atmosphere and the allure and glamour of this International Champions Cup. Rashford inside the area, Rashford scores! Rashford comes home by Marquinhos, Chiellini has scored. Pastore in the box, and Mosley! Iwobi, yes, Arsenal level it. Shot from Dendez, oh what a goal! An absolute doozy.
It's new, it's here. It's premium entertainment for everyone. From August 1st, get popping every day with Ebony Life TV. Mondays are for Nollywood. Tuesdays are for novellas. The Next Generation have a blast on Wednesdays. Thursdays are for drama. Fridays are there to excite you and binge every weekend.
To, da kai da ke da ita da shi da kowa nake so na yi magana da. Me ke faruwa? Kana son karuwa ga ka zaune bakin rijiya amma kana jin ishin ruwa? Gangan jikin siyasa. In ta dangwala ka dangwala na dangwala. Ina amfanin ana yi ba da kai ba? A turancin Najeriya to an gaya maka. No sit down look. Kana sit down kana looking komai na ƙara lalacewa? Ina ka ga daman ƙorafi? Da masu jini a jika ake yi. Watan matasa. Kwankwasa a buɗa ki shige. Dago ka shaki iska ko kalime. Da ƙyar ka sha yafi da ƙyar aka kama ka. No sit down look. Matasa ke siyasa. Yin rajista, karɓi katin zaɓe yana da amfani ƙwarai kwa.
No sit down look.
No sit down look.
No sit down look.
Make una no sit down look oh.
A popular saying in Nigeria goes that at the time a cockerel matures, it begins to crow to tell the world the time of day. This makes a crucial premise for all of us who have come of age, the youths, to lend our voices to a nation set to flip a new page, like the chance to vote and be voted for, whether being a youth, a woman, or a person with disability, and to do this in unity. And to anyone who hasn't been confident enough to exercise these rights, I beg, step out of the dark and come into the light. I mean, your participating in the electoral process is significant, a moment to behold, like that cock crowing in the morning to tell about a difference. No sit down look. Do something that will count today and be in tomorrow's books. The elections are coming. Register for and get your voter's card, your power card. As a citizen, and especially as a young lady or lad, lend your voice. Use your voice. Talk, say, and tell the world the time of day.
Dub, 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 dub. Yes.
My name is Jane, and I am 18, and this is where I hang out with my friends. We are deeply concerned about the problems facing Nigeria, but when it comes to doing something about it, we would rather sit on the fence.
Hold up.
Dub, 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 dub. Yes. Dub, 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 dub. Yes. Dub, 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 dub. Yes.
One day as I did dab they go. Now I might see my neighbor on top electric pole. Don't be how my hold so. Before. So climb every day. Come on electric bill. You not gree pay.
Waiting concern you for there. I beg you. Come over here.
Okay, oh. I don't talk my own. As I dab reach house. Yay! Fire! Fire! My brand new flat screen.
Hold up. Waiting concern you for there. I beg you. Come over here.
Government property, now my property. If you don't come down now, I go report.
Not be only report. Now report card.
Dub, 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 dub. Yes.
Sunana Yakubu, amma an fi sani na da Yaks. Abu mafi mahimmanci shine har yanzu muna zaune da kwayar cutar polio a kasar mu. Wasu sun san digon rigakafin polio, wato digo biyu da ake bada na baki. Wasu kuma ba su san da haka ba. Wasu suna tunanin wannan digo guda biyu sau daya kawai ya wadatar. Shin digo biyu ya wadatar? Bari mu bincika. Yaya aiki?
Lafiya kalau.
Digon mai guda biyu kawai zai isa soya kosai?
Ba zai isa ba.
To, ta ce ba zai isa ba. Ina zuwa. Nagode. Shin zaki amfani da digon nono guda biyu kawai ki dama fara?
A'a ba zai yiwu ba gaskiya. Saboda nonon ne yake taimakawa wurin dama furan.
Nagode. Tambaya nake shin digon ruwa biyu kawai zai isa hada shayi?
Ai ruwa biyu ba. Dalili kuwa dole sai ya kai kaman kofi daya.
Barka da.
Haka gare.
Da Allah tambaya nake so yi.
Allah sa na sani.
Shin digon man fetur guda biyu digon man fetur guda biyu zai isa ya sa wannan mashin aiki?
Ha ba zai sa shi aiki ba gaskiya.
Dalili ba?
Saboda ai bai wadace shi ba.
Haba.
Kwarai da gaske.
To nan ina zaka?
Dan je nan bayani.
Da Allah bari bi ka. Allah bai na wani.
Lafiya Allah.
Kwayan gishiri biyu kadai. Shin zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi?
A gaskiya ba zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi ba. Sai an ɗan sa gishirin da yawa tukuna sannan a haɗa sannan ya garwaye naman har ya yi daɗi.
Na gode. Kamar yadda muka je, ɗigo biyu kawai bai sa ya wadatar da wani abu mai ma'ana ba. Yaro ko yarinya samu ɗigo rigakafin polio. Wannan ɗigo biyu akai shi zai wadatar wajen kare yaro ko yarinya daga kamuwa da cutar koko kowace irin cutar polio.
A classico, I tell you, my 3 points is clear.
Yes.
Eh? They go watch match.
Okay, what do you want me to do about it?
Give us light.
That's the only thing you've been saying since you came into my office.
Maybe your work be that.
No, it's my work, but see.
Our government fit do their work if we sef do our own work. No just sit down. Carry wetin dey worry you go meet who suppose solve am.
Disco music is so... What's that word, Seth?
Raz?
Raz!
Hang on, let me check for something.
Oh.
I've got some classics.
Tupac.
Mozart.
Very Raz.
What about Vanilla Ice?
Also Raz. Look, guy, I need something fresh for this journey. Something to keep me alert and focused. Or else this is a solo assignment.
Cool down, let me... What's this? PVC?
Wait, give me that. Come. How on earth did it get there?
Guy, relax now. It's not like it's of any use.
Look, yes, the elections are over. But we need to keep the flames alive by playing an active part in making our voices heard.
Elections don't finish, but the time to close mouth never reach. Make we get involved, because now when we participate, Naija go better.
What about the original soundtrack for the movie Pretty Woman?
People of Nigeria, I hear say don't back Odin. From my side, the good as the banner, because even human being, you no go to the drink Odin. I beg, he good, make a banner. We don't want them again.
A lot of Nigeria youth that have been taken into codeine have caused a lot of havoc to them, even to the society in general.
The recent ban of codeine is very amazing because that will help the Nigerian youths to face the reality and know what they're doing. Because of then, man, people are taking this codeine and they'll be very slow, they can't even help themselves out. But now that it's banned, I think they have no way to find any excuse, so they will come out, do the right thing at the right time and work for themselves.
I feel happy about the ban of codeine in Nigeria because it has caused so many harms to our youth out there. They over-abuse it. For those it may affect, they can go for other alternative of cough syrup It's not only codeine that is in Nigeria that is cough syrup.
To some extent, it's okay. In the sense that the abuse is getting out of hand. You see people taking codeine as if they are drinking water, which is causing health hazards to most of us. That, I say, is not good. But think about it the other way around. I need codeine to cure me of one ailment or the other. And for me to go and get it now from the pharmacy becomes a problem because it's banned. So what do you do now? So before the government will come out to say this and that, I think it should be better for government to find out the root cause of why these guys or these little ones, not even guys this time, even women, even politicians, they do it, they take it. Find out why they are doing it, especially those guys outside. Then try to sort out that problem so that it will stop. If you say you ban it, the effect will be on almost everybody. But if you find out the root cause of why they are doing it, it will help us better.
I think the recent ban of codeine is one of the most positive things this government has done so far. And it's a very, very good thing because it will actually curtail drug abuse. Because if you look at Kano and Lagos State right now, they're among the highest abusers of drug, and Katsina State is a very good thing for the youth, and it will definitely grow the level of efficiency and self-sustenance in the country.
Plastic bags. I'll say every day.
Plastic bag. Wow. I might say every day.
There is nothing I make use of in my shop as leather. I dey use about 2 packages of leather every day.
Packing several things, clothes. It could be clothes at times. It could just be maybe items from the market. As in when you buy foodstuffs, even packing other plastic bottles too, and virtually anything that needs to be packed. Most of the times we use plastic bags for them.
Or if I'm going to somewhere like the market or a shop or something, I'll definitely have to use a plastic bag.
For me, my business revolves around that. You can imagine coming to buy a pair of shoes and I'll just give you in your hands. What will happen? Will I ask you to put it in your handbag? No, I can't do without it. And then what if I come to the market and I want to buy tomato or whatever? What happens? Where will I put my stuff?
Leather, they help my business in many ways because of many customers, they cannot buy your market without leather now. They may not be, it will not be portable for them to carry it to their home. So there is portability being using leather in terms of putting the materials, that putting the goods that you have sold to the customers, so that it will be easy to carry to the car for them.
Because I need it for everything. I need it for my waist bin, I need to pack some things, I need it for everything.
I'm a fashion designer. Most times if my clients want to see me, I go with my bags because when I come here, I always come with clothes. That's the reason I'm using it.
Well, it depends on the quality of the plastic bag and the size. For instance, if it's like the big polythene bags, we recycle. We could still use it to maybe pack clothes later. We could still use it at home for maybe pack refuse before we dispose of it. But if it's the smaller ones that maybe you used to carry, like something like fish, or things that will still leave stain or smells in it, we dispose of it immediately.
Well, if it's perishable things, I'll definitely throw it. But if it's like about clothes, we usually keep it in a basket in my house, so we can use it for other things. Yes.
I don't know, but I think a long while.
Oh, this question, Oga. The question is too big. Leather can take, to me, maybe 1 year. It will decompose within a year.
Like a month. I don't know. Like a month.
My God, I'm sure it takes long because I think those are the things that you usually see that last a very long time inside all of the refuse dump and all those things. Most times when you go to pack stuff from a refuse dump, some other things might have decomposed over time, but of course the plastic bags would just be there sticking out. So I'm sure it takes a long time.
I have no idea.
I guess for my little age, or for my little staying in this earth, I've never come across that one. Plastic bag, it don't decay easily. I've never seen it.
Well, how long it decomposes? How long? Because okay, well, at least from my own little knowledge of plastic, I know it's not biodegradable, so I know it takes a long time. Maybe I say 50 years thereabouts for it to actually decompose because of the kind of material it's made out of. So, but I'm not sure about. But I know it's a very long time actually.
Wow. A month? Or a year. It depends. A year.
That's impossible. Hi. That's impossible. No.
I cannot agree. It takes 150 years to decompose in the soil. So I may believe it since I don't have any knowledge on it.
You don't say. Then we should reconsider, really.
I'm just hearing it for the first time.
For a nylon bag to decompose after 100 something years, I don't know. Maybe only a scientist can tell that, not me.
That's a lot of pollution for the ecosystem, actually, because since it doesn't decompose on its own, definitely even in because okay, well, I dispose of it through waste bin and all that, but a lot of people just throw it in the gutters. So you at least I know that will definitely clog up the drainages, and even for in fact, even to try to like quantify the amount of damage. Well, I can't. I really can't quantify, but I know it's a lot. It's a lot of damage to the ecosystem.
It causes erosion. I think that's which I've come across before. Erosion during rainy season, when you drop it, like when you keep them anyhow, like in a dustbin, and it rain, can easily cause erosion.
Well, I'm not really sure of like exact effects, but I shall know that every single thing in this world has its side effects. It has, even this microphone might have its own side effects. So I'm not really sure, but I'm very sure it does. It has side effects.
Plastic bag? No, I don't think so. It's not possible, honestly.
No. No, I can't.
I don't know how it's going to look like, but I don't think I can stay without that plastic bag. Because if I did not, then my client, they will insult me then, I'll shoot. They will cost my life. So I don't think I can stay without using plastic bag. That's true.
Max Alanikam Kawana Burkina Faso Toma Sankara Reinanko Sidara Jamax alanikam kawana Burkina Faso Thomas Sankara Reinainko Sidara Sufine wantai Thomas Nicolas Dunyo Africa Aki diskurso nunjeti de tachu de retan senigache Kapiten Sankara Uetananya Nyanyo Africa Dinujai fetal Ñu fexe door muy dal ba duñu desabal Africa Kasira Thomas Sankara
Tonight, NUJ voices concerns over reporters' continued detention. Court adjourns another journalist trial on Friday. NEC acknowledges improved security in Benue. Hello and welcome to PTV Tonight. I am Lilian Okazi. The Nigerian Union of Journalists is not comfortable with the arrest and detention of Premium Times journalist Samuel Ogundipe. It also wants the federal government to prevail on security agencies to allow the media to carry out their duties without fear. The union wondered why Ogundipe is still being held after 48 hours in spite of the public outcry. Emmanuel Hijana reports.
It is more than 48 hours since the police took Samuel Ogundipe into custody, and journalists and Nigerians are concerned. This is because another journalist, Jones Abiri, had spent 2 years in custody over what NUJ considered a spurious allegation.
Jones Abiri, for over 2 years by the Department of State Security, on the face of it, is a slap. It's a slap on our democracy. It's a slap on press freedom. It's a slap on freedom of expression. because judging from even what they're charging for, conspiracy, criminal concealment or whatever. So you look at it and you ask him, what did he do? What did he do? And for 2 years, the DSS could not bring up any evidence against him. As we have seen in court today, this is the second time he will be appearing, yet the DSS could not provide witness or even evidence. That shows they had nothing against him. It was just an attempt to muzzle the press. And any attempt to muzzle the press will definitely affect this democracy.
They argue that media practitioners should be allowed to carry out their jobs without fear.
It's an unfortunate situation, and on the part of the DSS, they have failed. And I think the DSS had to stop this kind of intimidation. It's unjust to keep someone for 2 years without any evidence. I am in the court today and I listened. They have no evidence why they are keeping him, and this should not continue. This should be discouraged. This is not the kind of DSS we are expecting. The DSS should be restructured, and I think it is high time. You don't keep someone when you don't have evidence to prove why you're keeping him. The court have called for 2 years. No, you cannot forward why you are keeping this man. It's so disturbing, it's so worrisome, and I condemn DSS to the totality in this particular regard.
What we've seen is the persistence of advocacy, that an injury to one is an injury to all. If the journalist fraternity had not galvanized the kind of support that was needed for government to show that Jones was alive, our efforts would have been futile. But also, it also brings to question the issue of press freedom in Nigeria. Press freedom and freedom of opinion is a constitutional guarantee. But unfortunately, we have seen that there have been breaches here and there under this government and in previous administrations, which should not be so. As we presently speak, a journalist is in the custody. Samuel Ogundipe is in the custody of the police. As we are speaking right now, the police are brutalizing protesters in front of police headquarters.
And in spite of the ordeal of Abiri and now Ogundipe, the Journalists Union wants its members not to be deterred. The leadership urged media men to continue to operate within the ethics of the job and the ambit of the law.
Well, one, they should adhere strictly to the provisions of ethics of our profession and be factual in all they are reporting, not biased, and of course, things like this will happen once in a while, but they should remain on they should not be deterred, and they should also have the back of their minds that their union is solidly behind them. We will fight this case, any of the similar thing like this to happen to anybody, we will fight it anytime we see such things occur. So they should not be deterred. It's part of the hazards of the profession, and I am sure we are up to the task as professionals. We will fight such things, and the journalism, yes, it's not a crime. Yes, we have been saying that journalism is not a crime. So no government or any agent of government should not treat journalists as criminals or our profession as a crime. No, we are offering a service to the society, and while the government should do its own, they should also allow the press to do its own work within society.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The NUJ also maintained that it won't relent in its efforts to see Ogundipe released and his bank account unfrozen. Emmanuel Ehijine, PTV News, Abuja.
The police have meanwhile said they have not done anything wrong by holding on to the reporter. Police spokesman Jimoh Moshood insists in a statement that Samuel Ogundipe has been investigated and prosecuted for theft and unlawful possession of restricted and classified documents. That's inimical to national security. He explained that the journalist is also being persecuted under other offences which violate Official Secret Act, Cybercrime Act, and the Penal Code law. The police spokesman noted that Ogundipe has since volunteered statements and is standing trial. Moshood added that Ogundipe was arraigned within 24 hours of his arrest and remanded in police till Monday, August 20th. The arrest and prosecution of Premium Times reporter Samuel Ogundikpe by the police has been eliciting negative reactions on social media. The arrest came on the day the presidency ordered an overhaul of the special anti-robbery squad. The consensus, especially among Twitter users, is that acting President Yemi Osinbajo needs to intervene on the matter.
Welcome to Social Media Reactions here on PTV News. I am Daniel Mwaboso. Now, since the arrest of the Premium Times reporter, Twitter has been on fire with the hashtag #FreeSamuelOgundikpe, which has been trending. Notable Nigerians as well as ordinary Twitter users have joined the call for the reporter's unconditional release. We kickstart with the tweet from Governor Ayo Fayose. After weeks of silence, the Ekiti State Governor joined the fray, saying the move deserves condemnation by all lovers of freedom of speech and of the press. He added that he was joining well-meaning Nigerians to call for his release. Now, the journalist, for his part, wondered why the police had to freeze Ogundikpe's account and asked the central bank whether individual accounts could be frozen without a court order. Anyway, Chickstar believes banks are complying with illegal orders. Now, pro-PDP online activists prefer to draw attention to police siege on Benue Assembly and the blockade at the National Assembly by masked security operatives, as well as closure of visa issuance at the U.S. Embassy, and said, quote, just sounds like those dark days of Abacha's dictatorship. Moving on now, another social media influencer sees it as an attempt ploy to bully him into revealing his sources when it is not like he lied or misinformed the public. He also hopes that, in quote, they don't try to frame him because there's no case here, unquote. Let's move up now, and Amnesty International, which readily complains about alleged police brutality, tweets via its Twitter handle at Amnesty Nigeria handle that the police should unconditionally release journalist Samuel Ogundikpe, who it says is in unlawful police detention, and for effects, Amnesty tagged the acting president's handle. Moving up now, we are also adding our voice to the immediate release of detained reporter Samuel Ogundikpe. By now, it's not a crime to be active in one's line of duties. Now, and here is one from a journalist, a TVC reporter, whose tweets about police embarrassing the country, embarrasses, the country and all of that. Now, he wants to educate security officers. This is what he said. Femi lashes out at security chiefs and whether it would take another order from the president to free Samuel Ogundikpe. Some notable supporters of the Buhari administration, like Kenneth Cole, also opted to brush, politics aside to take on the police with an appeal on the Inspector General of Police not to dent what he says are the good works of the president and his deputy. Moving up now, another person spoke out for journalists by saying, without confidentiality, many sources of information will not give journalists information. That's a tweet you can see there. Now, moving up now, another tweet reminded everyone that it all happened on the day the acting president ordered the overhaul of SARS. He maintained that such impunity must stop. And going to one notable Nigeria now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, for his part, said Samuel Ogundikpe's detention for his refusal to disclose his source to a story raises serious concerns about the preservation of the confidentiality of sources. For him, there is need to protect press freedom as guaranteed by the Constitution. Moving on now to another tweet that says, it is quite clear that the consensus among Twitter users in Nigeria is that this is one police move that was so wrong. But one thing you will be sure about is that we at PTV will keep our viewers updated on the developments in the social media on the Free Samuel Ogundikpe campaign. I am Daniel Mwaboso. for PTV News.
An Abuja Magistrate Court has adjourned the trial of Bayelsa-based journalist Jones Abiri till August 17th. This was after he was formally arraigned for alleged criminal intimidation. The court also wants the Department of State Service to present evidence to support their claims. Abiri was held in DSS custody for 2 years before his court appearance. Judiciary correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu has more.
I can only tell you. Can't do it. The same thing, just like
After 2 years in detention, Jones Abiri is finally in court.
This man is blocking the front. Beg him to leave my front. Maybe this one.
He is the publisher of Weekly Source magazine. Abiri was arrested in July 2016 for allegedly having a link with militants in the Niger Delta. But his long detention, which lasted for 2 years without trial, is the reason these crowds have gathered at this magistrate court to witness his first arraignment in court. Here in this crowd is the leadership of Amnesty International, Nigerian Union of Journalists, and a host of many other civil rights activists.
We're in a situation whereby people are afraid to speak their mind. They are afraid, and then a situation where members of the press are self-censoring themselves because they are not sure about what would land them in trouble for comments or materials they've shared. And so our call is that freedom of expression is a fundamental human right. Freedom of a press is recognized worldwide. And today, the fact that one of your own has been released on bail is a sign that justice still prevails in our society.
Samuel Ogala is Abiri's counsel. He gave an insight on the journey so far.
But the prosecutor came ill-prepared, and then we made an application that the FIR should be struck out and the defendant discharged. But the court, in his own wisdom, decided to adjourn the case to tomorrow and gave the prosecutors the last warning that if they are not ready to commence trial tomorrow, that the court will do justice by striking out the case. The prosecutor was in court, but the prosecutor that came in court claimed to be representing the main prosecutor, who he claimed is not around. And there was no justifiable reason why the lead prosecutor is not in court.
The court threatened to strike out the case if the DSS fails to provide detailed evidence against Abiri. Emmanuel Bagudu, PTV News, Abuja.
A Niger Delta activist, Daniel Ezekiel, has alleged that a number of youths are held in DSS facilities in the last 3 years. He made these claims while recalling his ordeal at the detention facility. The activist described the inhumane condition under which he was kept alongside some youths from the region.
There are still so many innocent Nigerians who are languishing in DSS detention. To be precise, as I'm talking to you, 48 Niger Delta youths are in DSS custody for the past 2 years. They've not been taken to court, and those whose family were able to get competent court judgment, they've not been let go. This is the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria, and I call want to use this opportunity to appeal to the acting president, who is not just a lawyer, but a son of 36 years in practice, to carry out a reform in DSS. I think this reform is even overdue for the SSCs of DSS to be curtailed, and for Niger Delta youth who are languishing in DSS custody to be set free.
The Department of State Services has now a spokesman, and he is Nochironyi Afunaya. The appointment was contained in a statement by the Public Relations Department of the agency. Afunaya was identified in the statement as the editor-in-chief of the DSS in-house magazine, The Triples, and is said to be a PhD student. Until recently, DSS statements were signed in the last 3 years by a Tony Opio who has never been seen in public. The last visible DSS spokesperson was Marilyn Oga. The National Economic Council says the security situation in Benue State and other crisis-prone states has improved. This is one of the highlights of the meeting presided over by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo on Thursday. Benue State Deputy Governor Benson Abonu attributed it to the performance of troops deployed for Operation Wild Stroke.
The NEC meeting centered largely on the security situation in the country. Members received briefing from National Security Advisor Babangana Mungunu on behalf of the security agencies. Also on hand was the Benue State Deputy Governor Benson Abonu, who confirmed the improved security situation in his state. Also speaking was the Jigawa Governor, Mohammed Badaru. He spoke about the return of people displaced by militia groups. The NEC also put in place a committee to coordinate security efforts in affected states. Francis Etuko.
A federal high court in Abuja on Thursday suspended hearing in the contempt suit against the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu. This is pending the hearing of an appeal in respect of the suit. Justice Stephen Palm said in a short ruling at the resumed hearing that he was adjourning the matter view of an order by the Court of Appeal. Emmanuel Okori, counsel to the application, like Ike Ogwebo, had remained in the court about the appeal court order. The judge had earlier told INEC's counsel Samuel Omale to convey his displeasure to Yakubu's counsel till manner in which it was handled during the matter. The Independent National Electoral Commission has formally handed out certificates of registrations to the new political parties. The ceremony also provided a platform for the Commission to drop hints of plans to tackle vote buying in coming elections. Emmanuel Bagudu has more from the INEC headquarters here in Abuja.
For the new parties, it's time to roll out the drums. Not surprising, INEC headquarters looked the scene of a mini political rally. While the party supporters were jubilating, their officials were receiving their certificates of registration. For INEC, it was yet another time to reel out the rules of engagement.
The 23 political parties emerged out of 144 applications received by the Commission so far from associations seeking registration as political parties. I wish to congratulate the chairmen and leaders of the new political parties for meeting the criteria enshrined in the Constitution for your registration as political parties. Needless to add that from today, you are recognized as political parties under the law.
The new parties were formally received by representatives of other parties.
This opens the landscape of participation and opportunity for electors to choose their representatives, and also I want to thank the Commission for being diligent, following the law and order by accepting your applications to register as political parties as guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The new parties say they are bringing something new and better for Nigerians.
Nigerians are tired of the capriciously rapacious political parties that have put them in a state of hopelessness. At this time, I'm hoping that all the members of the 23 political parties here will see ourselves as a fresh leash of life for Nigerians. And Mr. Chairman, we are hoping that when you are giving the next certificate of return, it will be to one of the people in this room and not those who have disappointed Nigerians.
Nigeria now has 91 political parties with the registration of the latest entrants. Emmanuel Bagudu, PTV News, Abuja.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has received sensitive materials for the Port Harcourt Constituency 3 State Assembly by-election. Resident Electoral Commissioner in Rivers State, Oboe Fanga, disclosed this at the INEC State Headquarters in Port Harcourt. He said that he received the materials at the Central Bank amid tight security. Efanga added that movement would be restricted on Saturday between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. within the areas involved in the by-election. He also said the participating political parties had assured INEC that they would play the game by the rule to ensure a peaceful electoral process. And in Osun State, the Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement Africa, YAGA, said it was trained 31 long-term pre-election observers for the September 22nd governorship election in Osun State. YAGA discloses in the statement signed by its executive director, Samson Itodo. He said the trained observers would help the group to detect early warning signals which may affect the credibility of the electoral process. The Independent National Electoral Commission says no fewer than 134,000 registered voters in Anambra are yet to collect their permanent voters card. Resident Electoral Commissioner Nwachukwu told newsmen in Oka that registrants yet to collect their PVCs were mostly those who registered between 2011 and 2017. As the race for the 2019 presidential election thickens, leading aspirants of the People's Democratic Party turned up in Edo State to seek delegate support. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former PDP caretaker chairman Ahmed Makarafi believe that they have what it takes to rule the country. The two aspirants also brought up what they say is the urgent need to restructure Nigeria. PTV's Kingsley Eben has more in this report presented from our studios.
At the last count, 91 political parties have been registered ahead of the 2019 elections. A number of them also have a coalition deal in place to wrestle power from the APC-led federal government. But former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is pressing on with what may be his final effort at clinching the presidency.
I can run as many times as possible. I am fit, qualified, and I still have ideas that I believe are going to put this country on the right path. So that's what's wrong in running. Some of you think you are desperate. I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate. I'm desperate. I have taken the presidency in 2003.
Another PDP presidential hopeful, Ahmed Makarafi, has been speaking about those he says are seeking to destroy the country. And as for PDP members in Edo, it was a good thing to be considered important by the aspirants.
Former Vice President, who is aspiring to be a president now, is a man who can rely on, a matured man. And I think all these issues of insecurity, poverty, all the nonsense that are happening now, if we have a good government, or the government of Atiku,
the Edo State, is very ready for him. I say he is the man to lead us forward. He is the man to take us out of this economic depression. He is the man to take Nigeria to the next level. Well, you know, a lot of people, I shan't mention the names, have moved from one political party to the other. So, you know, I'm not sure that that's a minus in any way. I think that the movements in his case he's looking for the right opportunity to be given to him to take this country, as I said, to the next level.
With PDP's presidentials close at hand, it is expected that more aspirants will move around to solicit delegate support.
Some senators have resolved to move a motion for judicial probe of the recent security siege at the National Assembly complex. Senator Issa Hamam Isao and Rafiu Ibrahim have insisted that they would sponsor a motion on the floor to demand that the federal government set up a judicial commission of inquiry on the matter. Misao and Ibrahim said a joint statement in Abuja that an open inquiry would enable Nigerians know what led to the siege and those behind it. The senators maintain that it will be one of the priority assignments of the Senate on resumption. And on Nigerian immigration, the Edo State government says it has received 3,888 Libyan returnees between November 2017 and August 2018. The statistics were given in the one-year report on activities of the State Task Force Against Human Trafficking in Benin. The document indicated that the returnees came in 34 different batches from the last quarter of 2017. The federal government is partnering with a Chinese company to develop digital education and innovation in Nigerian schools. As part of the benefits, the Chinese digital technology giant NetDragon Websoft Holdings will build technology hubs in digital villages in rural areas. It will also help improve in technology and innovation in the nation's education sector. PTV's correspondent Francis Utuko has more.
NetDragon Websoft is a Chinese technology giant that has already established its presence in Edo State. That may be the reason why the Edo State government, in collaboration with the presidency, is looking at replicating their expertise in Nigeria's rural areas. The meeting is a brainchild of Governor Godswin Obaseki and the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals. With the idea already launched, it is expected that the collaboration will open a new path to embedding technology and innovation into the curricula of primary and secondary schools in Nigeria. Francis Etuko, PTV News, Abuja.
UNICEF says Nigeria needs no fewer than 3 million toilets annually to meet the Sustainable Development Goals to scale up sanitation and hygiene before 2030. This was a thrust at a national planning meeting on Open Defecation-Free campaign in Abuja on Thursday. Farouk Khan, a UNICEF water, sanitation and hygiene specialist, noted that the present deficit in toilets ought to be reversed. This, according to him, is the only way the country can meet the SDG 6. He said that the goal of the ODF Nigeria National Campaign was for Nigeria to eradicate open defecation first by 2025 and achieving universal access to safely managed sanitation by 2030. According to him, the objectives of the campaign is for the tiers of government to prioritize sanitation in its development agenda through budgetary allocations and institutional framework. He added that this could be further strengthened through advocacy and media dissemination of key messages such as poor sanitation results in economic loss. And the Nigerian economy, the National Council on Privatization has approved the appointment of advisors for 3 transactions undertaken by the Bureau of Public Enterprise for the current year as part of the reform strategy of the federal government. The listed transactions include the partial commercialization of the River Basin Development Authorities, partial commercialization of the National Park Service, and the 7 national parks, the concession of ecotourism activities in 3 selected parks, and the concession of the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex. Raising from its 4th meeting for 2018 at the Presidential Villa, Council approved the engagement of Agri-Africa Consultants A&E Law Partnership Consortium for the Transaction Advisory Service for the RBDAS. Similarly, it approved the engagement of Africa Wildlife Foundation for advisory service for the 7 national parks and concession of ecotourism activities in 3 selected parks. For the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex, Mrs. Feedback Infrastructure Services was approved as the transaction advisors. The meeting was presided over by the NCP Vice Chairman and Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun. Still on Nigeria economy, the bears continue to dominate trading activities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, with the all-share index dropping to 34,000 mark. Barely 5 days, it moved to 35,000 mark. The index shared 457.7 points, or 1.30% on Thursday, to close at 34,617.12 against 35,074.82 on Wednesday. The market has maintained downward trend for 7 consecutive weeks, with losers outweighing the gainers. Also, the market's capitalization shared 167 billion or 1.30% to close at 12.638 trillion, in contrast with 12.805 trillion achieved on Wednesday. An analysis of the price movement charts showed that 29 stocks recorded price depreciation, while 17 stocks posted price appreciation. Dangote Cement led the losers table with a loss of 8 naira to close at 206 naira per share. On the other hand, Okumu Oil recorded the highest gain with 1.45 naira to close at 74.55 naira per share. You're on to PTV Tonight Show. We're going to a quick break. When we return, foreign and sport news will come your way. To stay. You're welcome back. And now straight to the foreign scene. The director of Uganda's government-appointed Human Rights Commission, ED Nakangda, says she has received reports that detained musician turned politician Robert Kyagulanyi will appear before a military court on Friday. His lawyers and relatives had expected Kyagulanyi, known to his supporters as Bobby Wine, to be court-martialed on Thursday in the northern town of Gulu. He was arrested following an attack on President Yoweri Museveni's convoy on Monday and has been charged with treason. It is unclear why the authorities plan to try Bobby Wine in a military rather than civilian court. And in Mali, Mali's President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta has won Sunday's heavily disputed runoff election with 67.17% of the vote. Opposition candidate Tuomali Sisi, who won 32.83% of the vote, revealed that he would reject the outcome of what he said was marred by fraud. The internet could not be accessed via mobile phone networks in the capital Bamako ahead of the announcement of official results. And in sports, Nigeria's under-20 girls Falconets have been dumped out of the under-20 Women's World Cup finals after a 1-2 loss to Spain in the quarter-final. Aitana Bomati put the reigning European under-19 champions ahead in the 13 minutes. Patrick Gujaro doubled the lead for Spain just before the halftime when she got the better of Rashida Tajibade, who put her on side from a free kick outside the Nigerian box. The hard-fighting Falconets return reduced the tally with a goal from Peace F.E. minutes, but it was not enough as the Europe held on to qualify for the semi-final of this year's tournament. Still in sport, the Nigerian Basketball Federation says the women's senior national basketball team, the Tigers, will arrive in Lagos on August 20th for the next phase of campaign ahead of the Women's World Cup in Spain. The championship, scheduled to hold from September 22nd to September 30th in Tenerife, Spain. NBBF spokesman Afolabi Oni said on Thursday in Ilorin that the team had been training in Atlanta, U.S. He added that the team led by Hughley Otis will have their last training in the U.S. on Saturday before the departure on Sunday. According to him, one of the players will be dropped from the team out of the 14 players, including Adora Ilonu, who has been drafted by Atlanta Dreams. He said that the team had settled in and were now focused on the task ahead. Oni is convinced that the team's experience in the U.S. will translate to a good outing at the World Cup. Now, for more sports stories, Daniel Waboso is standing by.
Hello and welcome to PTV Sports Desk. I am Daniel Waboso. Minister of Youth and Sports Development Solomon Dalong is insisting that acting President Yemi Osinbajo has not endorsed the Amaju Pinnick-led faction of the Nigerian Football Federation. This, he says, is contrary to reports making the rounds. The report had claimed that Osinbajo's endorsement was in view of the threat by FIFA to ban Nigeria indefinitely from its activities by Monday. But Dalong said in a statement that the issue was still being handled by the Committee of NFF Elders stakeholders. The minister said he was hopeful that the parties in the crisis would be able to come to an amicable resolution. Nigeria Super Eagles on Thursday dropped by 1 spot to the 41st position in the new ranking formula adopted by World Football Governing Body FIFA. In the ranking table published on FIFA website, Nigeria had 613 points in August. This puts the country in 6th place in Africa, behind Senegal, Congo DR, Ghana, Morocco, and Cameroon. On the global scene, France climbed to the top from the 6th position before the World Cup. The world champions were last held top on the FIFA ranking in May 2002. Belgium are in 2nd place, while World Cup runners-up Croatia are 4th, up from 16th. Other big movers include Uruguay, 5th, up from 9th, England 6th, up by 6, Sweden 13th, up by 11 points, and World Cup host Russia 49th, up by 21. Young German defender Thilo Kehrer has completed his move to Paris Saint-Germain. The French team said he has signed a 5-year contract. The German club announced on Sunday that they had agreed to sell the 21-year-old to PSG for 37 million euros. Carrera was part of the German team which won the Under-21 European Championships last month and played 27 Bundesliga matches last year for Schalke. He becomes PSG's second signing of the summer after veteran Italian goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon. La Liga's organizing body has announced plans to hold regular season Spanish top-flight games in the United States in the future. It did not give any details on when the first game across the Atlantic was set to take place. La Liga president Javier Tebas has spoken of his desire to play regular season games outside Spain and mimic the NFL's highly successful policy of playing official games in London since 2007. Earlier this month, the Spanish Super Cup, Spain's annual curtain raiser between the league and the Copa del Rey winners, was moved outside the country for the first time, with Barcelona beating Sevilla 2-1 in Tangier, Morocco. Away from football now to Formula One, where Carlos Sainz has signed a multi-year deal to replace Fernando Alonso at McLaren from the 2019 season. This was after Alonso announced he will retire from Formula One at the end of the year. Fellow Spaniard Sainz is currently on loan at Renault from Red Bull and said it was a dream to join the McLaren. McLaren Racing Chief Executive Zak Brown said Sainz, who began his Formula One career with Toro Rosso, is a perfect fit. Sainz currently sits 11th in the Drivers' Championship standing with 30 points. And in tennis, controversial proposals to revamp the Davis Cup and turn it into a season-ending 18-team event have been backed by National Tennis Federation. A two-thirds majority among the 140 nations was needed for the plans to be approved at the International Tennis Federation Annual General Meeting. The ITF has outlined a 25-year, $3 billion plan with an investment group founded by footballer Gerard Piqué. The Lawn Tennis Association, Britain's governing body, is however opposed to the proposals. And finally on tennis now, Dutchman Robin Haase upset German 4th seed Alexander Zverev 5-7, 6-5, 7-5 at the Cincinnati Masters, while Wimbledon winner Novak Djokovic cruised into the third round before rain interrupted play. Haase converted 6 of the 7 breakpoint opportunities to get by world number 3 Zverev in a match lasting 2 hours and 25 minutes. He last week kicked off his North American hard-court swing by reaching the Toronto quarterfinals. World number 55 Haase improved to a 2-2 career record against Zverev, including victories in their last 2 meetings. Haase will face Pablo Carreño Busta in the third round after the Spanish 13th seed beat Bradley Clan 6-4, 6-4. Zverev's older brother Miska was scheduled to face defending Cincinnati champion Grigor Dimitrov, but their match was delayed by rain. Djokovic, who needs the Cincinnati title to complete his collection of ATP World Tour Masters 1000 trophies, rallied to defeat Frenchman Adrien Manarino 6-4, 6-2, 6-1. And that's all we have on PTV Sports Desk. I am Daniel Mwaboso.
Thank you there, Daniel. And that's all we have on the news tonight. On behalf of PTV News production crew, many thanks for watching. I am Liliana Ogazi.
watching People's Television, your people's preferred station, powered by you.
For innovative research-based analysis, fresh news and programs, join us on PTV, the People's Oriented Station, transmitting on Star Times Channel 120, showing across 36 states in Nigeria, and Channel 77 on Strong Decoder across 52 countries. Yes, you asked for it. Now you have the best of television. You can also follow us on our social media platforms showing on your screen. People's Television, powered by you.
Soldiers helping Nigerian soldiers fight Boko Haram.
We will have to persuade Nigerian legislatures.
This is coming together of people who are confused.
Executive order should comply with the law.
I personally dissociate myself completely. Personally.
From this interview, because you have said
there had hardly been any administration.
Practitioner